Hello, I'm Lowell Spears and I'm going to do a seascape for you today. When you're out doing a seascape, normally when you look at the ocean, it's basically in a monochromatic view that you're seeing it. So what I've done today is I made up a mixture of 2 parts burnt umber and 1 part Prussian blue. In the sky, we're going to be using, in the clouds and in the sky, we're going to use the yellow ochre and permanent red. So I put magic white on, but I'm going to put a little bit more on. Because it dried out on me a little bit. And I want to show you a test here to make sure that you got the right amount on. It's best that once you put the magic white on, try getting the paint it within about 5 minutes. Get a nice fingerprint like that. See the test? Not a smeared fingerprint, but one that indicates the canvas grain on your finger. Okay. I'm going to take the same brush and I'm going to go into this base mixture. We refer to this as a base mixture from now on. We're going to start right at the top of the sky, right up here. I'm going to leave an opening right here because I'm going to have the sun up there. Let's load her up again. I want to get a little more in there. In order to show this light area, you need some dark in there. As you come down, let it softly blend into the magic white. Let's do the same thing over on this side. Let's start over here. That way you're throwing your attention to the center of the painting. Gently bring it down. Okay, next step. I'll take a small foliage brush. I'm going to go into, I've got thick white on here and soft white. I'm going into the soft white, a little bit of yellow ochre, and a little bit of permanent red. Let's coat this area up in here. Now we're going to put a dark cloud in front of this. Let's just bring that color on down. Work it in a little bit. Right through the middle here, I'm going to do the same thing. We want this color on the ocean here. Watch when you decide to divide your line here, your water line, make sure you don't get it in the center. Get it an inch or two above or below. So it's about half here, so let's put it just a little bit below center. About here. Let's put this color right down through the middle. It's not showing up yet, but when we put our dark on, it will. That's a good test showing you there that the light doesn't show up till you have the dark. Up here it does. Take another clean, dry blending brush. Make sure it's got all your thinner out, and I'm going to soften this. Hypnotize it. Now I'm going to take a bristle brush. I'm going to use this for my clouds. So we don't want to use this color straight dark, so we're going to, the base, so we want to lighten it up a little bit. I want to save our darks for when we get up close. A little bit lighter. Let's put a cloud in here. Little up and down movements. Now all of a sudden, notice that how light that becomes now because I put this dark in front of it. Soften the bottom of the cloud, lay it down. Make some little small circular movements like that to kind of blend the shadows in. Okay, let's put another cloud in. Placement of clouds is important. Don't put another cloud right down below that. Stagger them a little bit. So let's go right over here. Soften the bottom again. Let it go out into nothing. Let's go down here and put another smaller cloud right in there. I'm going to make it a little bit lighter now as it goes in the distance. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Now just carry on, make a few. This here really creates distance in your sky. Putting this little movement in there. I'm going to come up on this cloud up here and I'm going to soften the shadow area a little bit. Okay, our next step is, this time I want to go into my dark base mixture again, but I want to pull it down a little bit because I want to load the brush just right. Let's go into pretty much the base color and a little bit of white. Let's not have it the pure color. Now this is the time that you're going to make the decision. Don't cut it in two. Start on the outside edge. Just gradually work yourself over to the center. Blend a little bit as you go over. Gently blend it into the lighter color. Let's do the same thing on the other side now. We're going to have some rocks over here, but we want to get this color in here. Make vertical strokes only on this here. After we make the vertical strokes and do the blend, and then we're going to use some horizontal strokes to pull it together. Okay, got another clean dry blending brush. I'm going to start in the middle this time. I'm going to pull the strokes back and forth horizontally. Also over here, this will make that water lay down. Couple hairs there. On the water line up here, notice what I'm doing. I'm softening it. Also makes it lay down. All right. Let's take a foliage brush now. I'm going to do some of the cliffs by the ocean. They're in the distance too, so let's make the furthest one a lot lighter, and as we come closer, we're going to get it darker. So we can either go past center or this side is center. So in this case, let's go this side is center. Start back there. Let's just tap in an outline of some cliffs. As we get closer, I'll make it a little bit darker. Just get the area covered. When you start painting seascapes, I suggest that you do a monochromatic. They're a lot easier to start with. And as far as that goes, in just about any type of landscape or whatever. Now I'm going to put a few highlights on there. And I'm going to use my bristle brush. I'm going to use some of the thicker white now. And let's start back here. Pulling it down into the water level. Not a lot of detail back there. because of the distance. I plan on having a big rock here in the front. Some of this area is going to be closed over because of the spray. A few more highlights. Make the cliffs a little bit steeper. Now there's several different ways you could do this. You could use your knife to do this too. But I want to show you that you could do something with your brush. Okay, now let's do a few more highlights up here on this higher ridge right here. Bring them down like that. The stroke indicates the steepness of it. Okay, now I want to punch out a few spots. I'll take the same brush and let's get a little darker color. And let's go in and do some shadows, like in here we can make a few more shadows. Over in here. We're not going to be too particular in this area. Let's do a few up in there, like that. That gives you a chance to shape your mountains also, or your cliffs. A lot of things you could do there. You could put trees on that. Okay, now I'm going to take my fan brush. Let's get into the soft white. Yellow ochre. Little touch of permanent red. Let's put some color out on the ocean here now. Starting at the top. Bring it over a little bit. Again, load it the same way. Put a few long lines there. Now we're going to put some dark under this. This representing the light that's hitting on the water and also reflecting some of the clouds. With the same brush, let's just go over here into the dark. Now we don't want to get it too dark, so we got to watch it. Let's test it and see. A little bit too dark. Okay, let's draw a nice long line through here. Try keeping this line horizontal or parallel to your bottom of your canvas. That lays it down. Maybe another one right here. Smaller one way back there. Now I'm going to clean this bristle brush and I'm going to make that water lay down a little bit. Go right into with a clean brush, pull this down along the bottom like this. Soften the bottom. That'll make it look like there's some little rollers coming in there. Pull this light out a little bit. Soften that bottom like that. Now we're going to get real serious here now. We're going to put the base of our wave in. Let's go right into the dark, the base color. And let's kind of figure here a little bit. Let's start right in here. Put the dark right under the wave. And we'll have a wave coming over right there. Get that dark in. A lot of pressure. I'll reload again. Maybe there's another wave coming up underneath here like that. Bring that color right on over. You might want to refreshen that color again by adding a little bit more to it. Okay. Now, take this color and pull it with strokes like this. Make that water lay down. All the way across here. I'm not going to have much shore on this one. We're just going to see this one big breaker here and maybe a couple of rocks. As it comes closer, it begins to lay down a little bit on you. Okay, I'm going to clean this brush again now. Now we'll mix another value, make sure that it's lighter than this. Let's get right into our soft white again. But we want to make sure that it's dark enough also, because we want to lay a series of 3 colors there and we want to blend them together. So I'm going to try it. Let's see what it looks like. See if it's dark enough. I could have it just a little bit darker. Get plenty of paint in there because I'd like to, once we start, I'd like to go all the way across this wave, or go at least halfway. So let's start right here. This type of a stroke. Bring some of the dark up into that stroke. Think about a wave breaking over. Come back and reload and do the same thing. Let's start over here this time. Fairly dark color. Carry on over here, carry that out just a little bit. We're going to have a big rock here. Okay, clean your brush. Make it lighter, and the next layer is going to be lighter. We're going to use this for reference now. We're going to make it lighter. More white. A little bit lighter. The top value wants to be pretty much white, so now let's do the same thing. Make another layer across here. Go right into the other one. Pull a little bit up into it. Vary it up and down a little bit. Reload again. So simple. No problem there. We just blend that right down into the water. Make it like floating foam. Okay. I'm going to clean this brush again. You see, I didn't quite get all my thinner out of that brush last time, so good idea. Get you a towel. Make sure it's all out. Let's do the top layer now. Let's use our cloud color. White, yellow ochre, and a little bit of permanent red. Now let's put another layer right on top. It's the strongest right here in the middle, so let's start right in the middle. Once you got that on, let's make the foam for the rock. There's going to be a big rock here now. We want to put the foam in first. Just blast it right up there like that. Notice I'm letting some of the paint come up off of the end of the brush, creating the foam. I need to clean it this time because I got over into the dark. So lay your palette down. Again, get into your light color again. Go back over across again like this. Okay, now what we're going to do is blend these 3 colors together. And I'll show you how to do that. Make sure that your brush is clean and dry. Important. All right. Let's start up at the top where it's the lightest area. Do the same kind of a stroke, just blend it together. Follow that line, blend it together. Don't worry about that from there on because we're going to put that rock over there. Pretty soon you'll see that this thing is starting to get round. Let's go down and do this one. Look like the wave is tumbling right over. Same way all the way. This area right here I can soften a little bit more. Okay, let's take our knife now. Let's do a rock. Let's get right into our base color. Load up a nice chunk of paint like that. And let's just fire in an old rock here. Get that rock on there. Think about the general shape to begin with. A little repetition there. Change it a little bit. Quite a lot of paint on there. Let's go over on this right side and let's do another rock over there. And let's put it right here. kind of fairly close to the shore. But we'll kind of have it laying in the water though. Okay. Take your blending brush. Let's get back into our base color again. And let's pull this color right down. Pull it down into the water. A little bit more. Same way over here on this right side. Let's do the same thing. Pull it down into the water. This time don't pull it clear down because the rock isn't big enough. It wouldn't cause that big of a reflection. Okay, let's do some highlights on that. Let's go into our thick white now. Let's pull it over here. Let's put a little bit of the sun color in it. Mix it in. You don't mix it dead, leave it kind of marbled a little bit. The sun's over here, so the light source or the highlights will be on this side of the rock. Same way over here. Let's go over and do this one. This time the highlight is over on the left side because of the light where it's coming from. Right behind that rock there, now let's put a water line. I'm going to dip my knife into the magic white. There's a little bit of color there. I got it paint thinned down now. I got a little ribbon on there. Let's go right over here and put a water line in. Just let that paint float off of the knife. Maybe you see a couple smaller ones there too. Especially right where the dividing line is there. Okay. Let's take our fan brush. Let's do a little bit of floating foam now. Out here in the light, let's make some floating foam. Load it up again. It's fairly light here where the sun is hitting it. As you get up into where the shadow area is, you want to make it darker. Using that as reference. And also it starts to tip up. So you got to think about that too. Right at the top here, you see a lot of times, you'll see right up in under the wave, you'll see it kind of falling down a little bit like that. Over in here, water's rushing across them rocks. Make it kind of lay down by using horizontal strokes. Then maybe I'll take and do it like this. Pull them together a little bit. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to work on my rocks just a little bit more now. I'm going to change them just a little bit. Work over the highlights. Also, maybe I'll put this rock sticking out here by itself a little bit. Make it a little more interesting. Another thing you can do is take your dark again, and you can come back in and shape some of your rocks to your choice. And maybe put a highlight on that one. take my liner brush now, and I'm going to make a light gray color, maybe about the color of the cloud up there. Sharpen it up good. Let's go up here and do a bird. Let's see, maybe we ought to do him over here on the right side. All I'm going to do is test it first. See, now it could have been, we maybe make it just a little bit darker. There's some seagulls back here. What I'm going to do is lay my palette down, show you how I can rest my hand on the edge of the canvas and just make some little V's like that. See how easy that is? Maybe one way up here. One coming in there. Another one kind of banking over there. I'm going to step back and take a look, see if it needs anything else. Another thing I could have done is I could have softened a little more on the edge of these clouds a little bit. Like that. So that looks pretty good. I really enjoyed painting with you today, and I hope I can be back with you again. Thank you. Goodbye.